What is an American institution? My talk is titled, Building American Institutions in the Digital Age. And the word that I want to emphasize is American. As digital transformation accelerates, what traits define institutions that are particularly American versus those that are not? This is an important question because digital technology will reshape many things about our society. The structure of new networks and organizations is often as important as their stated values. Certain structures will help preserve American values in the digital age, others will not. So as we confront new technologies, we must understand the key factors that will shape their impact on society and how we can harness these to advance American renewal instead of American decline or cultural disappearance. My company, New Founding, is a venture firm focused on critical civilizational problems. The key focus here is civilizational. We are American. We believe America has something exceptional that is worth betting on, and we seek to renew and advance American civilization. I'll lay out some themes that I believe should define American institutions. My focus is on businesses, but many of these principles apply to building other sorts of orgs too. And then to illustrate, I'll describe a few of our ventures built around these themes. I believe such projects can affect the trajectory of the country in ways that we have a particular ability to influence. New Founding's motto is, build the America you want to live in. And this resonated, particularly in the early years after the first Trump administration, when there was a lot of sense that the country was headed in the wrong direction and that many, many people in our space had limited ability to influence it. I also believe that these projects offer compelling investment potential. America became the most dynamic economy in the world because of particular virtues of American culture. Companies that embrace these virtues will, one, resonate more with Americans, offering more durable growth, and two, they will unlock far more of the entrepreneurial and cultural energy that have driven so much of America's past success. I'll focus on two virtues that are particularly American. First, what I call fractal particularity, and second, the elevation of entrepreneurial agency. By fractal particularity, I simply mean preserving local or particular distinctions across different levels of society. It's closely associated with voluntary association and self-government. The opposite is globalized homogeneity. It's easy to see how digital technology can promote the latter. The question is, how do we achieve the former? Federalism was the defining element of our Constitution. This reflected a fundamentally American trait, distributed self-government that allowed varying answers to political questions. States were free to govern in ways reflecting their distinct cultures and priorities. And this wasn't limited to states. This model of organization shaped every aspect of American life, a fractal structure that allowed Americans to develop a rich array of cultural institutions and to exercise the skills needed for self-government to exist at any level. Digital age institutions have not, by default, shared this model. Facebook, for example, has steadily moved toward a more homogeneous model, deprecating the importance of distinct networks like universities, on which it was initially built, and moving toward a TikTok-style content algorithm that pushes everyone toward the same types of content. This sort of homogenization is also reflected in offline trends. The failed Cracker Barrel rebrand. It epitomized the erasure of traditional regional distinctives in favor of a generic identity. And it was driven by a San Francisco-based firm sharing the same cultural values as Facebook. We're taking the opposite approach, betting that as digital trends erode traditional norms in community life, many Americans will seek out opportunities for deeper connection and culture. Our Ridge Runner real estate project illustrates this. We're developing an elevated rural community across 4 counties in Tennessee and Kentucky, about an hour and a half northeast of Nashville. We're embracing both the particular local culture and a particular vision of high-trust community. As societal trust breaks down, many people instinctively want a place they can put down deeper roots. Ridge Runner is designed to offer this. The business model is simple. We buy land in a beautiful yet largely undeveloped part of the country. We develop it in ways that embrace the local Appalachian character, and we market it to people throughout our network consciously looking for such a community. The goal is to solve a key collective action problem. Many people want to move to the country, but they want to do it with friends. By planting a flag around this vision, we make this community a go-to destination for early movers. This aligns with broader real estate trends. Remote work allows more people to live where they choose. Agrihoods, communities that are centered on agriculture, are growing as people seek a connection to the land and to their food. Ridgerunner's flagship development, Brewington Farms, offers a good example. We bought a 450-acre farm, and then we subdivided it, setting aside 80 acres throughout the center as a pasture for grass-fed sheep and cattle, and then surrounding this with 55 residential lots. The community will also have a traditional Appalachian church near the center. The HOA will operate the farm. The residents will be able to buy beef from the community store. Because our land basis is very low, we can do all this at prices that are affordable to middle-class families, exactly the sort of people looking for places to put down deep roots and raise their families in aligned communities. This project not only offers a compelling real estate development model, it addresses the growing demand for trust and community in the digital age. It helps preserve a distinct local culture, and it fosters the conditions necessary for true self-government. The second trait I'm focusing on is entrepreneurial agency. A pivotal question of the digital age will be whether we live under human rule or algorithmic rule. America is a land of tinkerers and entrepreneurs. Some have become American legends: Ford, Edison, DuPont, the Wright brothers. This has always been a particularly human process, one where individuals have experimented and led based on their own ideas and intuitions, not the analysis of credentialed experts. Expert rule, managerial rule, is effectively rule by algorithm. For each question, there's typically a prescribed best practice. Rule is reduced to administration, and generic professional managers, who often hold Masters of Business Administration degrees, can be expected to implement these. And while this model gained sway in America, it never supplanted the more traditional American model. You always had entrepreneurs, tinkerers, and rule breakers who persisted throughout the country, from middle American businesses to Silicon Valley. But the rise of AI threatens to take the expert approach to the next level. Algorithms, trained to perfectly put out the latest expertise, can permeate every layer of business, faster, more objective, and far lower cost than MBAs. For every management or strategy decision, business owners will always have an easy and inexpensive answer that they will feel pressured to default to. Just as you don't get fired for hiring McKinsey, the safest option will be to follow the recommendation of the latest AI algorithms. Rule by technology will be a growing temptation, further distancing American businesses from the human-led approach that so defined our culture. But AI could also offer new power to high-agency executives. Another new founding company, Volus, illustrates how we approach this. Volus builds custom integrated data systems for middle-market businesses. These center on an ontology, which is a concept that was pioneered by Palantir in this context. After integrating all the existing databases and information sources in a company, we work with the executives to clearly name the various data fields and define the relationships among them. While this can seem like a mundane task, it's actually critical to digitally articulating the structure and vision of a business. This shapes the analytics that executives use to make operational decisions, and it creates a foundation for powerful AI applications that can then be layered on top in ways that align with the entrepreneurial vision of the company. Management of information is the lifeblood of a company. The need to hand this over to bureaucrats, particularly as a company scales, has put a major damper on business dynamism and has shifted power to the sort of bureaucratic experts who specialize in this, from the professional managers inside these businesses to the financial experts in PE firms concentrated in New York and SaaS companies concentrated in Silicon Valley. But those closest to the actual business problems they need to solve, the skilled operators and entrepreneurs running small and mid-sized businesses that dot our country, will always have critical advantages. By giving entrepreneurial CEOs and operators the information that they need to directly make decisions, we're giving them tremendous leverage that is capable of reversing this. My goal for Volus is to help catalyze a revitalization of middle American business. So while AI threatens to act as a powerful centralizing, bureaucratizing force, it could also re-empower the sort of distributed entrepreneurial agency that is so central to American business culture. So these two traits, fractal particularity and the elevation of entrepreneurial agency, are defining elements of American culture. They are not the norm around the world, and they are not necessarily the default direction in America. Most institutions in the last century have tended in the opposite direction, toward globalized homogeneity and rule by expert algorithm, watering down key aspects of American culture. But these traits remain deeply embedded in our culture, and we can build institutions that satisfy this demand. Smart entrepreneurs will do this in ways that harness digital trends, rather than fighting against them as a simple reactionary approach might. Such companies thus have the potential to thrive in the digital era, leveraging digital trends to offer products and services that reflect more deeply the American values that people increasingly crave. The dominant corporate culture of our era largely rejects these American traits. The default digital age institutions built today will not be particularly American, but we can take a different approach, betting on the desire of the American people for digital age solutions that reflect our cultural tradition, and on the value unlocked when Americans are given such solutions. The future is not deterministic. Rather, the future that entrepreneurs choose to pursue and that investors back will gain an edge over alternatives. As investors, we can help shape this outcome. Finally, by combining an understanding of enduring traits that define our civilization with an entrepreneurial application of a new technological context, we can help shape the aspirations for a broader political cultural movement in America that is still young but whose energy is growing. Entrepreneurship is about envisioning a future that does not yet exist and then willing it into existence. Venture can be a powerful agent to catalyze projects that produce a renewed American future.